back here, this HM DVR, mini DVR unit that I got, seems to have completely died. Not even the LED is coming on. And I have no idea why, because the reason I have two of these is to do exactly this kind of testing. So I've been treating them pretty much exactly the same since I got them. So I'm guessing this is just some sort of a defect in the unit, because the other one is still working fine. So I guess I'll just have to buy another one and wait for it to arrive.
So as far as the menu layout is concerned, I probably wouldn't mention this, and I didn't mention it in my Runtime Owl Plus review because these menus are pretty much all the same. But I am going to take a look at it in this review because it looks like they've done a complete rewrite of the menu system. As you can see, maybe right off the bat, the fonts are different. And we've got this pink background behind the thing that we're selecting. And there's only one branching menu from the first screen, which is the one I'm looking at now, with the arrow key. So I'm just going to go into that, and we see all of our options here, most of our options here, and we can go into another page where it says, the bug landed on the screen. Okay. So the arrow, the return arrow like that takes you to another screen, so that part of it is as before. But what they've changed is, for example, this one here where it says auto, if I go right to change this to auto, from auto to manual, it pops up another row. So that row expands, and I can now change this to a manual value. So they've given the menus some dynamic sort of changing features like that. So that part is new. And I also noticed that there are a lot of autos everywhere. So there's auto we just saw, and then if we look in here, there's auto and manual settings for detail and edge. I haven't noticed the detail to change anything at all, by the way, but the edge, I'll see if I can, it's a bit tricky with the best thing to check this edge on is those trees over there, but see if we can do it like that. There we go. 15 is the maximum. When I change it to 0, I just put between 15 and 0, and you can see that there's an edge detection going on, and it's exaggerating the edges of those tree branches in the distance. Makes them a little bit easier to see in most cases. But it also gives you a sort of a pixelated effect. Where you have straight lines, you can sort of see the anti-aliasing on the edges of the straight lines. I'll see if I can put a screenshot of something a bit more obvious what I'm talking about over the video at this point. So I didn't like this degree of edge detection, so I turned this down to about halfway, I think about, maybe a little bit, I'll leave it there at 4. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot more auto settings, so this one's also auto. Everything else I've listed auto and it seems to be really good. And other stuff is just the same. Oh, there's this one here is new. Zoom in. So I can zoom in. Immediately we lose our wide dynamic range. Before I do that, let's just look at the wide dynamic range. Let's turn this off and on. Now, I think, I've noticed this wide dynamic range option in the menus of the other cameras, and turning it off never made anything that bad. So I think they may just be exaggerating this a little bit. I'll compare this on the Sky Plus in a minute, and I'll show you turning wide dynamic range on and off. Doesn't make anywhere near this much difference. Anyway, so that's what I was saying about, what was I saying? Oh, zoom in, yeah. So zoom in is a bit of a strange feature, but we can zoom in like this up to level 5, I think, yeah. Except that when we're zoomed in, we don't have wide dynamic range, which is a little strange. So I don't know why you would need to zoom in, because this seems to me something like you might find in a security camera. And if we were using a camera that had been repurposed from an existing security camera format, then this would be understandable, but I don't see why it's here in a purpose-built FPV camera. Anyway, so that is the menu system. Okay, and now I'm using the Sky Plus, and if I turn wide dynamic range on and off here, you'll see it doesn't make anywhere near as much difference as it did on the Eagle. This sort of gives me the impression that they may be intentionally exaggerating the effect of the switching on the Eagle, because it should be at least this good, I would have thought. It's not that bad with it off here. So I don't know, maybe it's a bit of marketing to make you go, wow, when you switch it on. Who knows? Okay, so it's about a week and a half later now, and I have replaced this DVR unit, so I have 3 of these now. Well, one of them doesn't work, I suppose. And I've attached the cameras on there with double-sided tape, and they are looking fairly secure. I'm not going to do any super crazy flying like this, of course, just in case it, I think a decent crash would rip something off. And on the back here we have a bunch of wires and just sort of yellow ones that's going from the camera to the DVR, and then we have a few sets of negative and positive to power everything, and I have a 2-cell LiPo on there to give it power, and it connects up like that, all out of the way of the prop, hopefully. So I just thought I'd give you a look at this before I go out and do the testing, because, you know, in a few minutes it could be falling little pieces all over the ground. So yeah, anyway, hopefully it stays intact and I can use this in any future tests if I
so need to. I started off with just a little test walking around the house. It was quite a nice sunny day today, so it gave me the opportunity to test how it does facing the sun. And you can see right away that it does very, very well. It reduces the blob of the sun to a much smaller point, and you get a lot more detail in the clouds as well. In this particular footage, the settings of the Sky Plus have been customized. I copied somebody's settings that I found on a YouTube video that worked out very well for me, and I noticed that it was putting up a pretty good price compared to the Eagle, so I thought I'd just do this first before I reset it to the defaults, because I thought the defaults probably wouldn't work as well. But if anybody's interested in exactly what the settings were for the Sky Plus, in this case, I'll put a video, I took a little video so that I could revert to those settings afterwards, and I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can see what the settings were. Now here's the footage taken with both cameras set to all defaults, so this is how they would come out of the box. It's important to note that the Sky Plus comes out of the box with wide dynamic range off, and the Eagle comes with wide dynamic range on by default. So it's not really a fair comparison. So after this, I switched the Sky Plus wide dynamic range on and left all the other settings at default. But I thought I'd just show you this because the Sky Plus is still not doing too bad, I think. Now here's a low light situation. I didn't really do much of this because this is not really the focus of the Eagle. It's supposed to be a bright light sort of daytime camera. But I thought I'd just a little bit of it. You can see it does very well, probably due to the wide dynamic range being quite good. It does switch into black and white much quicker than the Sky Plus, of course. The Sky Plus is actually IR sensitive. Here's a little more of what I guess you could call low light testing. I just pointed it at the sunset and recorded it for as long as the DVR would go, which was about an hour and a half. And you can see, this is actually sped up at the moment, but you can see if you look at the building in the distance, you can see more of the details on the side of the building in the Eagle view than you can on the Sky Plus view. And I'll just speed up the rest of it here from this point so you can see the way it changes all the way to darkness. So after having gotten some footage by just walking around, I felt a little bit more comfortable about risking maybe breaking one of these cameras or even one of the DVRs again. And I strapped it to my mini quad like this and I flew around for a bit. And I've arranged the 3 images that you'll see in the next screen like this. So there's the Sky Plus with default settings except for wide dynamic range on, will be in the top left. In the top right you'll see the Eagle with default settings. And in the bottom, since I had it available and I was using this one to fly with, I thought I might as well record this as well, and I'll put this in the bottom as just a small picture. This is the Runcam Swift, and I set this one up on an overcast day to just some settings that I thought were good. But it's not really set up for a sunny day as such, but it still does pretty well. So most of what I'm doing in this flight is trying to give it scenes where there are large ranges of contrast, which usually means facing towards the sun and putting something in between you that has a dark side to it. No, not like Star Wars. I mean, you are on the dark side of the tree, or whatever it is that's in the way. So that's what I'm doing here, I think. And I'm also, at one point I go and look at the pink. There's some trees with pink leaves. Actually leaves, not flowers. They look like flowers because they're so pink. But I just wanted to sort of get a look at the colour of those, I think. And I also did some flips just to see how quickly the brightness can adjust when you flip. And the end of your flip, you're looking straight at the sun. You want that to sort of adjust the brightness quickly in that situation. Immediately after this, I took the DVRs off and I put the Xiaomi HD camera on, and I flew around to most of the same spots that I just visited in this video. And I'll put a link to that video in the description if you want to have a look at what this looks like from an HD camera at this time of day with this angle of the sun and this sort of weather and everything. Just for comparison, I mean. I think you agree that in pretty much any situation, the Eagle gives you a much better viewing experience, much more pleasant viewing experience. Here we can see that the Eagle takes a little bit longer to adjust the brightness when you finish a flip. The Sky Plus is almost instantaneous, but you know, there's a bit of a trade-off, of course, because the result is not as good for the Sky Plus. Well, we're getting near the end of the footage that I have to show you, so I suppose while we're looking at this, I can summarise my thoughts about this camera. I really like it. I think I was going to say it's a tad expensive at $55 as it was about 2 weeks ago when I started making this video, but I just noticed that it's actually $55 now on Banggood and also on Runcam's site as well, so I think that's pretty good. The best way I could describe this viewing experience is it feels less like I'm viewing something through a camera and more like I'm actually looking at it in person. Just because of the way the wide dynamic range works, closer to the way the human eye works. And when you're looking at cameras like this, you realize how very good the human eye does actually do this kind of thing. And it also gets the colors more accurate to reality as well. So both of those two things put together, I feel make it really, really nice experience. I did also fly my quad using this camera as the FPV camera because I wanted to check the latency. And I actually got halfway through my second battery before I remembered what I was supposed to be checking, which kind of tells you that the latency is not really an issue. And I did do some sort of fast flips and rolls and everything. And maybe if you were a super pro, like the Rotorite guys, maybe you might notice the problem. But for my level of skill, it was not an issue at all. So yeah, I think you can see the rest of what you need to know by looking at these side-by-side comparisons. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a buy. looks like I have a little more time to fill here, so I'll just mention a few of the cons that I came across as well. I think I've mentioned all of these actually, but the old case style, so that's the case that they give you on the Owl Plus and the Swift with the little nipple bits on the side of the case. I like that case style much better than the one that they have on the Eagle. The OSD display, when you're changing the settings for the camera, the text, as we saw, is too thin and needs a black background to be able to see properly. Not a huge deal. And also the cable that is now a 6-pin cable for the OSD menu. That kind of sucks. I don't know why they had to do that. The old cable with 2 pins was great. And I also found that when I actually started using it, the 6-pin cable, because it has 6 wires going through it, it's quite thick and it's very stiff. So it's hard to, once you've got your camera inside your quad, you're trying to plug the OSD cable in from the back. It's really hard to bend the new thick cable in and plug it into the back of your camera inside the quad. Whereas the old cable, just two wires inside, it was quite flexible and very easy to do that with. I was actually hoping to get this video up a day earlier, but my laziness kind of paid off in a way, because the next day was very, very overcast. So that gave me an opportunity to do just one more little test to see how things look on a not so sunny day. And it's actually raining as I'm walking around here, of course. What else? I should stop complaining about that after having one nice day. But yeah, I guess you can see for yourself. Yeah, look at it. What does it look like to you? Anyway, hope you found this informative. Thanks for watching. So, we've finally had some patches of fine weather here lately. I say patches because it has not been completely fine. It's just doing that thing where it cycles between raining and sunny every hour or so. But that's better than completely raining, isn't it? So I've been taking this opportunity to do a little bit of FPV testing with some planes. And one reason I wanted to try this was because I have a couple of planes that I intended to FPV and I have not yet. But now that I have that little, that nifty little air chain thingy, it makes it very easy to switch, or just quickly stick an FPV unit onto a plane and get it flying. So that's one reason I've been doing this. And another reason is that I also now have a pair of flat shark goggles. So they're very easy to perch up on your forehead and just quickly switch between line of sight and FPV in the middle of a flight, which is not so easy to do with the base box kind of goggles. And anyway, so that's what I've been doing. This video is probably not going to be anything very exciting, but I'm just so happy that we've been getting some sunshine at least here. So the first test I did, this plane, obviously I have flown this one FPV before, this is not new, but it occurred to me that I had not done a range test. So I wanted to fly it out as far as I could and see whether the video would give out first or the control would give out first. And I was only flying with the normal, I was not using the helical antenna on the receiver, I was just using the normal Spironet circularly polarized globally thingy that comes with the flat shark goggles. And I managed to get up to 1.6 kilometers with no problems on the video, and I actually kind of forgot that I wasn't using the helical, it was going so well. But at that point I lost control, and I'm just showing you this photo because I wanted to point out where the antennas are. I have one of them up there, and the other one is embedded in the wing at right angles. The camera was originally not that close to them. The camera was originally slung underneath the front here, and you can see the holes where it had the Velcro there, but unfortunately that, on a crash, that ripped this little square got ripped out, so I put it over here, and it's helping running things. And you'll also notice that, I don't know if anybody's watching this, saw my other video where I was flying this FPV, but I used to use this Runcam 2 as my FPV camera by using the AV out to plug into the video transmitter, but you'll see here that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm using a dedicated board cam, and the reason was that in one of my earlier trips when I was going out to test the range, about a kilometer away, everything was going very, very well, and then all of a sudden I was looking at the Runcam splash screen that the camera shows when it starts up. So I wasn't very impressed with that because the video didn't come back. All I could see after the splash screen went away was static, and so I had to go out there and try and find it, which I fortunately did, and it wasn't crashed. It wasn't damaged, so that's fine. So I will never again use this camera as my sole video link to fly FPV by. I will use it as an HD camera to record video, which is very good at. But I'm not going to use it for FPV. I'm going to use a proper board camera like this for that. Anyway, so let's have a look at a bit of the video that I've got there. I'll just speed it up. Not really that exciting. Let's have a look anyway. Oh yeah, and another reason that I'm uploading this particular test is that I uploaded a video a while ago where I got 2.3 kilometers on my quadcopter with this Flight Sky radio, and a lot of people got excited and thought, wow, that's great, I can do that too. And I think that I might have just got a little bit lucky with that one, because when you put the antennas into the wing, like I have done in this case, it seems to give you much less range. I'm not really sure if that's all it is, or maybe each receiver has better or worse characteristics that helps one of them perform better than another one. But whatever the reason, there's no way I'm going to get any more than 1.5, maybe 1.6 kilometers at the most with this particular receiver and setup. So I just wanted to sort of give a little bit of caution to anybody who thought they might be able to go out flying 2.5 kilometers or something with one of these radios. Might not be as lucky as I was that time. So that type round shed on the bottom left there is the 1.3 kilometer mark. thought I'd circle around the shed just to check that my video was good in every angle. And at that point, I lost control briefly, so I decided to come straight back. I was only running with a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, so I didn't really have much flight time overall. And it was actually my second flight. My first flight I got to about 1.5 kilometres at the end of that dirt road just beyond the shed.